Hey, I'm standing in front of a 2014 Kia Carnival, or Kia Sedona as I think they're called overseas. This one is getting a whole stack of oil into the coolant. Look, that is a telltale sign of a head gasket issue on these. Now, even more with these ones is that the threads on the head bolts strip out of the block, causing all sorts of issues. So that's what I'm thinking it's going to be on this, but either way those heads have got to come off. And what I'm going to do is just pull the whole engine out, because if I need to repair that block in any way or even replace it, look, it's got to come out anyway. So stay with me. Let's go through each step. I will give you some tips along the way and we'll pull this engine out. Just want to remove a battery out of this. It's a little 10mm socket just to loosen that one off. We'll take the negative terminal off. Just put it over there. Little cover. Zip the positive one off. Just put it over there. Now you don't need to come fully off with those, because you can just unhook them. Pull that out and the battery's out. Okay, with the battery removed, I'm going to remove this front cover here. I'm just going to remove these little clips. There's a whole stack of them through here. Get this little bit of plastic out of the way. It's got a couple of lugs at the front that it just sits under the grille. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to keep going at the bumper here. So we're just kind of working from the front and coming back. So I'm going to duck underneath the car. Okay, so under the front end here, we've got this underbody plastic that I'm going to take off. Again, we've got some little clips here. And I'll just go through and loosen those first. We've also got some 10mm bolts by the looks of it. And now these 10mm bolts. Now that's all hanging loose. Again, that's connected to the bumper. I don't think I need to remove that. Okay, now on closer inspection here, I think I'm going to have to take all these off. So while we're going with these, we'll keep moving along. These ones connect to the wheel arch underneath here. So obviously the wheel arch is going to stay behind and the bumper's got to come off. So just be selective in which ones you take off. But at this stage, it's looking like they've all got to come out. I prefer, where possible, to spend a few moments and get these off properly, just so I don't have to put new ones in. So there's stacks of those along the front here and in under here. I haven't bothered counting them. But that looks like that's all free from there now underneath here. Now up inside the wheel arch here we have an 8mm. Now you can get that with a Phillips head or your socket. Same again on this side. Find it. If yours is the model fitted with these fancy lights, we do need to disconnect these. Now up in here you can see the back of the light. It's got that sort of yellow clip on there. There is a squeeze point on the wiring. Now unfortunately you're not going to be able to see with my arm actually pulling it off, but let me get it out. So that's the plug that we'd be looking at, and there's a squeeze point on either side to pop that plug. Same process on this side, just less room to do it with. Look, it is up in there. It's exactly the same as the other side. I'm just going to leave that till I got a bit more room, just because I can't reach up in there. I can't fit my hand in. To remove this headlight, we've got now these two bolts out here. Now you can feel it is a little bit loose, but there's a clip in behind here that's kind of holding it all together. So if you've got a plastic trim removal tool, just carefully put it in here. See if you can just pop it out of that clip. Just putting a bit of pressure on it. I can hear that clip nearly breaking free. That's it, it's popped off that clip. And now it kind of gets a little bit caught up on the grill here and up here, so we just kind of got to give it a little bit of a wiggle. Now we've got the light free. Come around here, we just need to undo some electrical connectors. A squeeze point at the top on that one. Pops that out. Squeeze point there, and we pull that headlight out. Lever action happening in here. Just popping it forward, there we go. Wiggle it off the grill, undo the two connectors. Now with the headlights gone, we can see we've got a couple of more screws here. There's some 10mm screws here. Take that one out. Some more of these little push pins here. Same again on this side. These ones here are pretty good because you can just reach on the back half of them and kind of press them up while you're pulling them out. Done. So with that, our bumper should now be free. Just give it a wiggle, pull it off. Whoops, we forgot we had that one spotlight down here that I couldn't reach before. There we go. Now it can come free. Okay, to remove this crash bar on each side, we've got a couple of 12mm bolts that just sit up in here, but there is a sneaky nut that just sits around the back on here, and it's the same on both sides. So once these have all been loosened and taken off, the crash bar won't fall off, it will just sit there. So with the nuts and bolts off each side, we can just pull that out. Now, I'm not going to disconnect anything just yet, I just don't want a mess of fluids around. But I do want to just start getting some stuff out of the way off the front here. We'll take off these two 10mm. That can just kind of hang down there like that for now. Do the same with this one. Let that sit and hang. Now I want to disconnect the air condenser. Little tip here, this one goes into the plastic tank of the radiator, so where possible I don't undo those ones, just because you're likely to put a bit of tension or something on that and crack something. So I'm going to come down to these two. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, correction, I have learned something. This bracket that actually comes up here has a like 90-degree angle on it, so we do need to pop these out of there as well. Thought I was clever, but hey, I'm not. Again, same on this side. Now we can just pull it off the radiator. Now I'm not sure yet how it's going to sit. We do have a bit of flex on these hoses here, but let's just pull it off and see what happens. Just pop it up out of the radiator. Yeah, we've got a little bit of movement here. Just not sure where I'm going to sit it for now. Just bend these hoses just a fraction. Where that sits up in there. I'm just going to bend this one a little bit, give myself a bit of room. Just let that sit down in there. It's a little bit kinked on there. I just don't want to let the gas out of the system. I prefer to keep the gas that's in there. Okay, so the drain point for the radiator is just up through this little access hole. There's just a Phillips head fitting in here. It's very hard to see, and nobody likes looking up there. We need to undo something that's going to drain on top of us. but that's that fitting you're looking for. Now we'll just zip out the top radiator support brackets. Take that hose off while we're right there. Just squeeze this clamp and get the top hose off. Push that back there. Now we can kind of lean this forward, so we've got a few electrical connectors and stuff that we need to deal with. Okay, so there's a big electrical connector just here. At the back of it, there's a sort of a squeeze point. You can squeeze that and get that off. Just for a better view, that squeeze point is just on there. There's a smaller one underneath it. And find where the squeeze point is on the back side there. Okay, it was just on that one. Oops. Don't want to lose those. Just make sure that's sitting in there properly. Okay, now we just have the bottom hose to go. Now the bottom hose actually comes all the way up to here, so I'm just going to undo it from that point there. I'm just kind of pulling the radiator forward a little bit, reaching in. Move that clamp out of the way. Pop that free. So just looking up through this spot here, you can reach in and undo the two transmission cooler lines. So we'll just take these clips off first. Now I am expecting a little bit of transmission fluid to come out of these once we break these free. The second one, now I'm just going to kind of hold them upright here, and then I'm just going to plug both of these. So just for my random nut and bolt collection, I'm just going to put these in. That'll just stop any fluid from coming back out, maybe. Now I can take this radiator out with all this transmission cooler sort of assembly attached. Should be able to just see if I can hold it all. It out. Now we've got pretty good access to see what's going on at the front of this engine. This is the way I'm going to pull it out. I'm literally just going to pull it out of the front of the car here. Look, you can drop them down below, but I want to keep the subframe and steering and wheels and stuff on it because I do need to move it around while I'm waiting for some parts to come in. So, hey, let's keep cracking on.